On today's video, we're going to be talking about edges. Edges. I'm using this beautiful postcard that was gifted to me. Thank you, Corey. It's of Corkscrew Canyon, this beautiful place. I've never been, but just from this picture, it's selling me. So thank you for the inspiration. I'm looking at it now on the back. Harmony, Utah. New Harmony, Utah. Right next to it in the picture is my pencil, my digital pencil that I'm using on my iPad. Let's see, make sure I have the whole page in. Cool. So yeah, edges. I've been thinking about this concept a lot in my art. Edges basically means how fast you move from one color to another. So, like the edge of a wall is where the wall usually ends, or maybe it turns into another wall. The edge of the table is where the table ends. But in this case, let's say we have one shape that we're drawing black or painting black, and then we have another shape right next to it that is a bright pinky color, just like that. See how the line between them is very solid? That's what we would call a hard edge. Very hard. A very solid edge. It's when we have one contrasting color or value going right against the other. Wham! One color to the next. The other, the number 2 type of edge here is a soft edge. So let me pick a color here. I'm trying to pick colors in the picture we'll be recreating, or something like it. So let's say we have like a purple color, and then we're gonna go to, I don't know, what else, like a more pinky purple. So instead of this hard edge, I'm gonna press lighter with my pencil here, or maybe if you were with paint, you would blend the two together, or if you were with marker, you slightly overlap, or crayon, same thing, pencil. But now, look how this color goes into the next. You couldn't say there was a straight line like this one, where it goes black to pink. This one is more of a fade from one color to the next, so that's soft. And of course you could go anywhere in between. Say dark red. I'm gonna go dark red to a purple. With maybe a medium edge. Here's a medium edge where you can still very much clearly see where the split is, but it's sort of hazy. It's a little bit hazy. That'd be kind of a medium. Mid. So why does this matter? Well, we can see why it matters in this picture. I'm going to try to zoom in for us here. There we go. Can you see right here where we go from the shadow of the cave right up to the wall of the cave? How hard that edge is. It's very similar to this. Maybe if I turned it this way. See the black against that light pink. Hard edge. And that tells us that we have one object in front of the other. They're two distinct objects. They're not touching each other. They're kind of far away because one's in shadow. It also gives a really strong design element to the drawing, where it looks, hard edges look really clean, hard clean edges, whereas soft edges look more natural and sort of dreamy sometimes. Alright, so there's a hard edge. Can you spot any soft edges in this? Being rocks, which are hard, there's going to be a lot of hard edges. But there's a lot of soft edges too that maybe you don't notice at first. But look at how on this wall here, I'd say here's a middle type of edge. See how it goes from the light pink to the dark pink in the shadow? There is a line of shadow where the shadow starts, but it's not a hard line like the previous one. It's more of a soft transition from light to dark to more red, kind of get into darker red up here. There's up, and then there's sort of a harder line up here at the top. But a lot of very soft, smooth transitions between different colors and shades. Ooh, at the bottom we have a few harder edges. How about the shadow in the sand? See how the shadow in the sand slowly fades into the sand. It's not a hard edge. Here's a hard edge. As we look around here, you can notice all sorts of hard edges and soft edges. Mainly the soft edges are in the shadows and in the subtle color shifts that are in this rock. So let's zoom back out and give it a go. Shoot. Whoop! We lost him. I got another one. Has anybody been to this area, Corkscrew Canyon? If you have, type it in the comments. Tell me, please. I would love to hear about it. How was your time there? Makes me want to go and take pictures and so that I can paint it. Or maybe even better yet, bring my sketchbook. Okay. So I'm just going to try to recreate this picture here, thinking about edges. So when I focus on one thing instead of all things at once, then I'm able to improve a lot faster. So if I'm just focusing on edges, that means I'm not going to worry about my drawing too much. I'm not going to take the time that I could be working on my edges to work on my measurement and drawing, because that's for another time. For now, I'm going to do my best and on all the other aspects of this piece, but without paying much attention. But I am going to pay attention specifically to the edges and the edge quality. So how hard or soft is it? I've got this nice digital brush here where I can sort of blend if I press really lightly, and I can press hard and it creates a hard edge. So this is a really good tool for this. But another good tool would be like colored pencils or certain types of markers. Definitely like paint. If you work fast, watercolor is a really fun thing to practice edges on, but takes a little bit of carefulness. Anyways, let's get going. First I'm going to draw the bottom here, just the shape of the sand. And then let's see, we have one big shape coming up, something like that. And then at the tip of this, we have a shape. Just sort of following the lines up to the top. Again, not really caring too much if I get it. I would like to be accurate, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I do like this little section right that I just drew with that little dip down. I think that's a really nice formation. It's amazing how natural structures like this have such a delicate balance to them. I mean, a lot of this is thanks to the photographer too, finding the right angle to take this picture at, but Sure is nice. Alright, I think that's pretty much the whole drawing part of this. There's a little person in here, might as well get them in it. Cool. That kind of cements the scale of it. It makes you know how big this really is when you have a little person in the background, because you can judge how big the person is. I think I actually made him too big. All right, now comes the fun part, the color, the worrying about the edges and whatnot. I'm gonna start with black because that's what I already have, and with that, I'm gonna do all the dark areas. So this is really good to just squint. When you squint all the way down, what's black? Well, definitely this area. Right here, just reaching to this figure, but not quite. And that goes up, sort of a little bit lighter there, but I'm gonna go ahead and just black it all out. And I can always put, because of digital, I can always put light colors on top. Depending on your medium, you might not be able to do that. Like watercolor, you couldn't. But acrylics, you could. Probably not with pencils, though. Pardon me while I fill this all up. Sort of fades. Here's an example of a soft edge as how it fades here. There we go. All right, where else is dark? I think this spot right here can be dark. Again, I'm over exaggerating, so it might not be all the way black in the picture, but I'm just trying to get a basic black and white right now, and then I'll go in with lighter colors. And this is kind of a soft edge, how this turns. Should really be going left to right with this because that would help the texture of the rock here. Anytime you can make your brush stroke help or imply some kind of texture. So in this case, these rocks, they sort of have a layered quality to them. Anytime you can do that easily just by switching up your direction of your brushing, I encourage you to do that. There we go. All right. I think there's a little bit right here actually that I'm missing. I'm going with a really big brush too, just to fill up the space faster. All right, cool. So now I got pretty much all the dark areas. Now I can have fun with the color. So a good thing that you could do is look for the brightest spot in the whole painting, either the whitest spot or the most colorful spot. So I can go for that bright red on the right side, or I could go for that white reflection of the light on the very left side. I'm gonna go with that on the right because my background, my canvas is already white, so I can't really draw white on my already white edge, so might as well go in with that red. So I'm going to choose a red color. This looks like a little bit orangish red, red-orange, and it's very bright, very saturated, and it's right here. So I'm just going to be heavy-handed with it again. Maybe a little bit bigger brush. Going to be heavy-handed with it and just pay attention to my edges. So this isn't going to be a hard edge up here. It should be like a medium edge. And how it hits the shadow. Shadows, unless it's really hard light, shadows should be medium or soft edges. And brighten up a little bit, maybe get a little bit more yellow for this top corner. Red. Alright, going, going, going. And here's this strip of red here. And again, I'm only drawing where I see this really bright color, slightly adjusting it for colors that are close too. This bit right in the entrance of the tunnel. A little bit pinked out. Like here maybe for this side. Oh yeah, again I should be going left to right here. Interestingly, the sand is kind of the same color as that rock. I guess that makes sense because it's probably all made out of, the sand is all probably made out of falling things from the rock. Soft transition to maybe a little bit lighter color. Probably should have drawn the person. I'm just gonna erase them for now. Drawn the person towards the end so I could make the ground smoother. Boop. A little bit of this lighter color in there, in the rock as well. I don't want to go too dark there because that is where I pointed out the brightest area as well. Alright, more pink for this area in the middle. I see soft transitions from pink to sort of purplish to pink. All in here. So I'm trying to honor them. So let's see, what else can I do? Let's do the blue. I really like this deep blue. It looks a little bit on the green side to me. Let's see. Maybe somewhere around there. And this is going to be over the black area. And it's going to be over some of this white area. Interesting, this blue is from the sky, I presume, reflecting off of the rock and towards the camera. So pretty how that happens. One of those things you notice when you're there, but it's not really until you try to draw it or paint it that you sort of appreciate it fully, I believe. It's hard to recognize all the things just when you're sitting there in the thick of it. But if you're imagining it while you're there as like, how would I paint this? You'll notice all the beautiful colors that are out there for us to check out. Alright. I'm just gonna darken up some of these areas that came out a little bright. Maybe make this okay here. At this point now I'm just trying to cover up all the white. Cover up all the white. Alright. And here. There, that's pretty close. Cool. Now I'm gonna throw in, well, I'm gonna make sure that all this white is covered up, so maybe a little bit brighter red just to finish it up. These white areas on the right side. And maybe up here too. I do like this swirl, this kind of U shape of all the rocks. So I want to really make sure I get that. It really curves at the top. And like each face sort of has its own way that the texture is sort of curving. And I'm starting to realize that that is a very important part of this, of how this is, of the beauty of this, rather. All right. Now I'm going to go in with the white, pure white, and get the brightest areas and just try to really bring out the white in those areas. So I'm going to press hard, especially where the edges are hard, and just quickly get those in. Sometimes I get a little carried away and I start doing the areas that aren't totally white, but they're bright compared to everything else. And you want to be careful of this, but I think a little bit's okay. A little bit of an exaggeration, because you can always go over it, and it's nice to just pop something out sometimes. But it depends on what you're trying to get in the end result. All right. And now I'm going to go black. I like to do this back and forth thing where I go a bright color, a dark color, you know, a warm color and then a cool color. It's back and forth. I feel like it just kind of keeps it balanced. Just like looking in the mirror, looking at your piece of work in the mirror is a great exercise. It just helps make sure you're seeing both sides of things and considering things both ways. Little mistakes will pop out at you when you put something in the mirror. Just as interesting areas will pop out at you when you go from shadow to light and back. All right. Just trying to make sure that all these different layers of rock sort of go one into the next. They're all separated. All right. Cool. And then there's let's see, what am I missing on here? Oh, there's this area here. I think needs to be darkened a little bit. Oop. There we go. And there's that. And this is a soft edge. Now starting to really pay attention to my edges. All these transitions on the right should be softened. Again, an easy way to see what kind of edge to use is to blur your eyes. If when your eyes are blurred, you can see two distinct things, that's probably a harder edge. And if your eyes are blurred and it's sort of, you don't see a line between them, then that would be a soft edge. This should be like a hard edge in here, I think. Up here. I don't know. I think that's pretty much good. I'm going to draw this little person now, or put them back in. Just as few little strokes as I can. Make this person. Nice little simple. I don't want to make a really loose scene and then a really tight person in there. I've got to have everything just sort of be one part of the same whole. Give her a little shadow. Decided it was a her. And I'm noticing there's some shadow in the ground I should probably throw in there, just lightly. And any other glaring omissions, maybe this area up here. And brighten that up. And that leads to there, yeah. And this guy should be brighter too. And then I need some pink to fill in what I just did. There we go. Yeah, I think that's that'll do for today. There we go. It's a corkscrew. I'll write it at the bottom, just like the picture. Corkscrew canyon. All right, thanks for watching today. Hope you learned something about edges, hard and soft. I'll be on next week, same time. Take care.